Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I know it's been a while since I recorded a video, but I mean, it's been really slow. I think we're all being suffering a little bit or a lot with this pandemic, and definitely the workload is being reduced a lot in our shop. So I don't want to be recording, break jobs and little things that it really doesn't make no sense to share. Everybody has already posted those videos, and I have one here now that I think is going to be interesting. It's a 2015 Dodge Durango. It's a no start. The battery is actually in good shape, but I have no crank. This is a push bottom system. I'm going to show you something quick because these cars needs to be running in order for you to be able to put the car in neutral. So if that ever happens to you, that let me show you the problem. Get in a car and I push and no start. I already did a scan report for the vehicle, and I have a bunch of codes of communication, but let me show you the actual lever. So if you ever need to release that, it's right here. You just pull this out, and that yellow or orange thing, you need to use a screwdriver to kind of like release the lock this way. While you're doing that, you push this up. And the same thing is to put it back into the not release portion, which is, um, you know, as it is now. All right, so let me set the camera back in the front, and we're gonna check some fuses, and then we can go from there. Let me show you the scan report, which I have here. I did some small homework before. I don't know what the problem might be yet, but so we have lost communication with the brake system module, speed signals, brake and torque messages, lost communication with the anti-lock brake system, park power wire, unintended out of park position. That's probably done by the tow truck pulling the lever. Lost communication with the anti-lock brake system. Lost communication with anti-lock brake system. You can see that is actually present in many of the different modules. Um, going, forward on it. We have also on the BCM, lost communication with anti-lock brake system. Is this what is creating the issue? I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to check the fuses for the ABS module. Looking at the diagram for that, I can see that one of the fuses that supplies the power for the ABS is hot with run or start relay energized. So going back to the relay, in order for this one to be energized, which is hot all the time, is going to receive a signal from the PCM and from the body control module. So I need to check that. But before I go further, I want to make sure that all these fuses, which is fuse, sorry, my vision is not the same, the best, fuse 76, 26, and fuse 6 are all good. This one is just for the vacuum pump, which is was it is important, but I will not start the communication. So let's check this one, and if they're all present, then we check the ground, the connector, which is a little hard to reach. The ABS module on this car is down there under the air filter, so I might have to pull this out. So let's just start with the fuses, and then we take a decision of what else we need to do or not. All right, so let me set you guys on the tripod so you can watch me work, and we can all check the fuses together. The fuse box is on the passenger side on the engine compartment. Those are the ones that we need to check. I'm gonna put this here. I have to get my glasses. No, I think I'm fine. All right, so fuse 6, fuse 5, fuse 6 is supposed to be a 40 amp fuse, so that'll be here. Yep, I'm gonna need my glasses to pull that cover of that fuse out without breaking it. Oh no, I left my glasses at home. Okay, let's do it without glasses. I'm not sure if I will be able to see what I need to see. So let's see if we can pull the fuse. Yeah. So probably my best choice right now will be to get a multimeter, which is what I'm going to do, and check continuity without removing the cover, plastic cover of the fuse. Check it from the tab. I recorded a couple of videos before and I chopped my head off of the video. Sometimes I just go ahead and start recording and I don't check the position of the camera. I know that you guys are not looking at me for now. Just want to make sure that you can see the meter and the audible sound. hmm So yeah, this fuse is definitely good. All right, so that's fuse 6. Then now we got fuse 26. It's a 30 amp. Most probably will be close to that one. Yeah, so it's right here. I'm looking at the diagram in here. So fuse 6 is right here. Fuse 9, and then 20. Let me see 1 second. Let's see. Let me count the fuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the fuse 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yes. Then we have fuse 9. Fuse 27 is empty, and then fuse 26. Okay, so it is correct. All right, let's check this one is a 30 amp, and it is also good. And then should be a small fuse. The one is coming from that energized signal coming from the BCM or starter relay, sorry. And that is fuse 70, I think it's fuse 76. And just bear with me a second so I find it. Okay, fuse 76. Okay, it's actually right here too. Is so fuse 26, 78, 77, 76. And this one we can do here. And it's good as well. So all the fuses that we need for this, there are good for the ABS part. All right, so now the other thing, like I have no communication with the VCM, I mean, sorry, with the ABS, but is that even part of what the problem is? Is something else because I mean, it's hard to know. I will have to go and check all the, operation description of the car to see if the, the brake signal, because, is the ABS is completely dead? Is the PCM receiving the brake pedal signal? You need to press the brake in order to start a car. With the ABS completely dead, is that signal reaching the ECM or not? I don't know yet. So I'm going to connect the scanner to check these two signals. From the PCM, we're going to have a starter control signal that goes into this relay, which we can also um, and that is actually what we should do. Let's find a starter relay. Hopefully it's accessible. And that doesn't say, it says a starter solenoid 2. Solenoid. Starter solenoid. Well, yeah, it's the relay for the solenoid. Case, I think, are relays. Yeah. So let's see a starter solenoid. Run and start. So K07 and K08. K is relays. 07 and 08. I'm looking for them. So 7 here and 8 right here. Is that correct? Yeah, K07 is the starter solenoid. So this one should be the starter solenoid. And I guess it's an easy way to find out if this is the correct one. I gotta get the relay tool to put them on the top so we can take a measurement. So let me stop the video 1 second, guys. All right, so I always try to keep the relay on the original position. Well, no matter what, it's not that you can put them in any other position. This one even has another pin, but it's not being used. So the easiest way to know if this is correct will be to remove that fuse that then, um, actually no, the 40 amp fuse, fuse 7. We haven't checked that one. 1 second. Fuse 6, fuse 7, we haven't checked. Because that is actually, I was checking the one for ABS, but there is also another fuse in here, fuse 7, and it says it's here under the hood too. And that supplies, it's supposed to be hot all the time, and it supplies the power for the solenoid to actually work. So it's fuse 7. Uh, Fuse 6, 5, 7, right here at the corner. So let me remove this. I doubted that a big fuse like that is blown, but it has to be checked. You cannot take it as granted. And it's good. Uh, Supposed to be hot all the time. So let's grab a ground point. We have one in here. Make sure that we're reading correct. And yes, one of these ones should have power, and it does. All right, so we know that we have the power that is necessary for that fuse to be, I'm sorry, for that relay to be working. So since we got this off, let's keep it on. Nothing here, nothing here. And then we have power here. So this has power now. Let's remove this fuse to make sure that we are on the right relay. Hopefully we don't break it. So if we are in the right one, this is dead now. So yes, we are going to put the fuse back. Uh, okay, that was not a good test because I wasn't making contact. So we're gonna have to do it again. Yes. Okay, so it is. So we're in the right relay. And that should be terminal 87. Well, sorry, terminal 30. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, that's terminal 30. And then we have 87.8 and 87, and then 85 and 86 in here. 85 and 86 on this tester are on the side. Then we have pin 30 here, and 87 and 87.8 here, which is normally closed and normally open, right? All right, so we can keep that. So 30 would be the one closest to the right. We can put the test light here. And yeah, we got the power in there. Gotta make sure that we have any ground, or sorry, not ground, any other power. And we do. So that means 86, either 86, yeah, I think it's not 86. Let me see 1 second. No, No, it's normally closed. That's 87A, so that's never mind. That's the position of the relay that is normally closed. It's going to have the power from 30. So yeah, we have no auto activation. I just want to know if we have a ground side activation of the relay. It looks like both needs to be on. So let me go and turn the ignition on. All right, the ignition is on. Now we should have power here, and we don't. Yeah, the hard part with these now is we don't know which one is sending the power. Is the well, for the way the this is reading in here, let me show you. Both control wires for the relay are one controlled by the BCM and then the other one controlled by the PCM. Both sets starter control, so we don't know which one is the positive and the negative, but they're both being controlled by the computer. So yes, we need to set the scanner in place. So let me pause the video, guys, and be right back. I got the scanner connected. Not ID the vehicle. I put the DVM connected to, the ground lead to ground and the powers or the red lead um, to 85 and 86. And I see some voltage in there, even though it's definitely nothing strong because, this is not should probably use an LED light here just to make sure because remember this is control side, so you don't want to put a big load in there. Even though this test light that I was using is a very low consumption bulb, it's like 160 milliamps. I want to make sure uh, that I'm reading correct, so let me put this on here. Let's test this one. And what is that? See, it's the test light on there. Huh. See, it's very dim now. See, something change. It was very strong like that right here. It is definitely something in there, but nothing that I can really call power, even though it shows 11 volts. Okay, we got some updates. I don't care about those yet. Let's auto detect the vehicle. Chrysler. Hopefully we can do some bi-directional controls, maybe. Let's go to the BCM. I'm not going to do the whole scan because I don't need to, we don't really need that. Let's see if the trouble codes is still there or if something else shows up. Yeah, lost communication with ABS. Let's go over to live data. And it's where it says all is on. Ignition is in on. Like, why is this in on if it's not a starting? Ignition run, all is on. Let's see what else we got. Left rear. See if we have any other thing that we can go by. Brake fluid level. Park and brake switch. I like the starter solenoid. Electric shifter. No. Ignition switch status. Okay. I'm looking for, just fit that I can go like a parking brake switch. I would really love to have that one. Or sorry, brake switch. I didn't see it on the first. I'm already going into C. Let's go one more time. And this is, how time consuming is to test the stuff on a car that is all electrically controlled. Parking brake switch, yeah, not. It doesn't show me a brake switch. That is not nice. Show the selected NEM. So let me just go 1 second, guys, and switch the actually, let me take you with me. Sorry about that. So let's go inside and switch the ignition on and off and see if I don't lose the communication and we can see something in there. And the car is locked. Bear with me. I'm trying to do this as we're going here. So I'm going to just switch the ignition on and off. So ignition run. One more time. So it doesn't really, this run and start is actually ignition on, which is weird because it should be just ignition on. Ignition run. Why you have an ignition run and then ignition run a start? It's kind of like redundant, but so if we press, it's actually going off. You see that? I'm pressing the button for the ignition, and when I do that, it's actually going to the off position. Well, because actually I turn off the car. Press the brake and push button to start. Well, yeah, that's what I just did. No starter solenoid signal, obviously. It's a little hard to go with. Let's see if we have any special functions that we can use for this. Not really. Active test, ignition run. All right, we do have ignition run and start. You want view data stream? Let's just. Yeah, let's select those. I mean, what else we want to see, right? Okay. See, this is what I wanted to see. See, because I'm in run and start and the ignition run is staying on. All right, so let's go over the front, see if we see any changes on the relay state with a multimeter connected in there. Let me put you guys back in the tripod. No difference on this at all here. So how about here? We got voltage on both. So on, I can hear some activations, at least, like the throttle valve or so. And we can see the difference in here. See, off. Did it change or not? Yes, you see it went down and then it released. So, looks like this might be, let me take a look and see if this test light change or changes when we do that. Gonna do it, that will be in the way. At least not on the ground side switch. I'm trying to find which one is the ground side and which one is the power side. So let's go over to the other side, see if we got any difference. Nothing. So still we don't know which one is the power side switch control or the ground side switch control, because they're both dimming, a very dim activation in there, which is weird. Yeah, even though we have voltage change, now with the test light in here, that goes away. So yeah, we don't know yet, nothing here. So see, even with the consumption that the test light does, it's a change in the reading. I'm gonna try to keep both in there. See, it's like 11 volts, and then with this consumption, it goes down to like almost nothing. And when I switch it on and off, now that the test light is in place, it shows no change. All right, so let's toggle the other one. The ignition run. I'm going to put the same pits again. Okay. And then off. Hopefully you guys can see that test light not changing at all. And I can hear some changing. That's because I touched the 87A. So right here again, no change in there. And we're in the BZM, so that is not good. Not good for the test, and it's not anything conclusive yet. So I'm trying to find out which one is my pin 85, which that's what this wire diagram shows us coming from the BCM as a starter control. So, and I'm poking on, not poking, testing in here from 86 or 85 to see which one is the one goes high or low, but both are now high. I'm almost willing to do a test. Just to see if the starter clicks or do anything. We know that this is the power. Yeah, and it does crank. and it doesn't stay on, so it doesn't run. Yeah, the ignition is on, so we know the starter is good. That's what I wanted to do this test, because this is, we got power there, so something is not receiving that signal. Uh, should I erase all the codes and see if we get any? I have to do a complete full scan. So let me do the full scan. I'm going to erase all the codes and then start fresh to see what comes back. All right, before I do the erase, let me show that we have codes everywhere. Whatever is gray is not communicating to ABS. It's no communication with ABS. And that's the way the topology shows is the PCM is the gateway as well. So I'm going to do a quick erase. I don't need to keep the scanner here. By the way, this is LTEL Ultra, and I really love that scanner. It's super fast. I mean, it's very handy. It's now my definitely go-to tool to do anything, the scanners or oscilloscope. I haven't really done much, but when I'm using, this is my go-to tool because it's very, very, very handy. I love that you can do, communication tests without needed to do any other tool installation. The same BCI or is connected to the DLC, it does it for you. And the wireless oscilloscope is super handy too as well. You can connect everything in the car and then take it for a test drive with the hood closed, no cables connected, and you're still looking at everything. All right, so we do have still some codes. So let's see what came back. I'm going to skip this. No mileage, just to see what say. Yeah, the communication with ABS is definitely there. Nothing else. Let's see if it cranks, which I doubt it. I think this we're gonna have to proceed with the ABS testing. Yeah, nothing in here. So let me get the filter out. I'll be right back, guys, and reposition the camera for you to see better. All right, one test that I want to do is just with the ignition on, in between 85 and 86, it should read battery voltage, which I know for sure we ain't getting that in there. We're missing one of the activations, well, for what it is, it looks like we're missing the ground side activation. I don't know where it's coming from. I requested more time to keep going with the testing because that's the way the shop runs is customers usually just approve 1 hour and then we need to go from there and ask for more time, which definitely we're already deep more than that. All right, so I'm going to proceed with the filters no matter what. I mean, the car is not started. I don't think the customer is going to not okay proceeding with the testing, but you never know. So I'll be right back, guys. All right, reset the camera position. Make sure the ignition is off, and it is off. I want to plug that ABS again. It's under the filter. I don't see any damage on the cabling, the harness itself, like at least nothing visible. I always like to do a first visual inspection before doing anything. I should be able to, or I would like always to be able to see from, back prob in the connector, but that's not the case. It's impossible. It has a cover and everything in there. So we do need to remove this connector in order to do any further tests. Uh, it's a push tab and then a lever down. Sorry if I'm in the way. All right. This cable here for that sensor is so tight. For that wheel speed sensor. All right, first thing I wanted to check is see if we got any corrosion on the terminals. I'm going to remove with a pin puller this Christmas tree clip in here, so I get a little more slack on that harness. Yeah, no corrosion visible. I got a mirror to see the actual ABS module. Yes, nice and clean, no corrosion in that at all. Now we need to get the pin out for the module. Very hard to find information and the connector look. I mean, I went over to Identifix and into all data. All I find is the same thing over and over. Like it's connector D3836A, I think. Let me see. Right here, D38638. And when I click in here, it's no connector view. It shows me the pin outs. 38 is supposed to be ground, and then we have 13 as a ground, and then the powers and so, which I have already on the other diagram that I pull out. But if I click into any other module, usually it shows the pin outs and the connector view. So I'm like, okay, Identifix. So I went over to all data. This all data doesn't even show the connector at all. So I went over to the ABS diagram OEM, and well, one thing that I found is definitely the brake pedal sensor or sensors, because it sensors in the brake pedal as a travel. So it's up like a potentiometer position sensor, and it's feed to the ABS. It makes sense that there is no start, because if I go after here, then that brake signal is fed from the ABS to the body control module, and that is take as a, yeah, I'm pressing the brake pedal, so that's definitely a problem. So we're on the right track. I'm waiting still for the customer approval. I cannot wait. I like to know, even though I'm already over the time that I was approved, but I know, I mean, it has to be fixed. So looking at the connector views, or not connector views, looking at the connector, which is no numbers in here. Actually, it is 125. I think that is a 38, and I'm not sure that's a 13. So yeah, we can go with this. So let me get at this slide in here, and then we go from there. All right, guys, I got the approval from the customer, which is great. Let me just put on some glass that I was using to see the pinouts. So I got these out of Identifix Oriole data, and these are my powers and these are my grounds. These looking a little closer to the diagram. This is actually a star signal coming from this ground star or starter relay. So it will not be here because we don't have that. So is that not letting ABS wake up or work? I doubt it. This is just a confirmation from to start to tell the module, yeah, we're running, or we only have the ignition on. The only thing I don't really understand is a little bit of a run start relay. So it's supposed to be working. Um, let's check for the auto powers and grounds. So looking at the diagram, 13 and 38 are grounds, and then 1 and 25 are powers. So I like always to do a load test. Always do a load test. So we got both powers. Now let's check the other ground. I'm just moving the cables. And we have powers and grounds in here. I know as a fact that we will not have that other signal because it's supposed to be coming from the starter relay. But even though we don't have that one, I'm going to just briefly do the start signal as I did before to make sure that this light lights up. And that will confirm my operation theory. Hmm. I didn't see that lighting up, right? Nope. So let me take a look at that. All right, hopefully you guys can see something. I have to actually remove the lever. I just, remove it from the pins which are on the cover. So just carefully uh, pry it so I can move it out, and it's everything good, no problems. I'm not even removing it from the whole thing. I just want to back probe that pink, light green, which is pin 31. So I'm going to put a needle on the back, right at that connector or right at that pin. And before I close that, I want to check continuity, make sure I'm connecting it perfectly, because I need to base my findings on that. All right, so I need that other terminal on the front. Actually, I can remove this. No, I thought they were like fitting in here. They don't. This is just to make sure that the actual pin that I put, yep, I get continuity, so it's a good connection. I'm just, trying to find what the issue be, because I got no corrosion. I mean, it can definitely be a bad ABS module. This time I don't need to lock anything. Now I need to provide power. So I got to put an inline fuse. I got a 5 amp fuse in here, which that will work really good. These are all plastics, so no problem. I need another wire and an alligator to go to a battery positive. And this is all I'm going to do. And I can feel the the system back fitting. So let me get the scanner. Let me turn the ignition on. Ignition is on. Like I can hear some relays going on and off. Just to make sure that we're talking. Let's go into anyone before we try the ABS. Yes, we're there. All right, let's go back. Five codes in the ECM. Let me see what is now the codes in there. Yeah, same thing. Lost communication with the brake system module. So it's not ABS, it's BSM. Do we have any BSM here? No, just call ABS. Let's try to communicate. Nope. Once again, nothing. All right, so The sound is because there was no ignition on, and when we're doing this, we're actually providing an ignition back to that relay. So it's not the issue. Definitely, we have a bad ABS module. All right, turn the ignition off, and we can hear the activations again because this is an ignition fed or feed. All right, guys. So it looks like definitely everything is pointing over to the ABS. I mean, I got powers, I got grounds, and that module is completely dead in the water. I like always to triple check before I call a module bed. And in this case, I think I covered all my grounds, all my testings. So um, I'm calling an ABS module. And yes, it's time consuming, but yeah, you need to be sure. I mean, that module is probably going to be 1,000 or so. So you need to be sure that you are doing all your testing before making a customer spending money. I mean, everything pointed to there. No communication going in through different modules. We do have the data bus communicating, so it's just that module. And I can put the scanner, which is probably the last thing that you need to do, is to make sure that you got, communication lines reaching here, and we can do that too. So let me just quickly do that, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, just to show you, pin 5 and 6 are the communication. 5 is can high or can see high, and then 6 is can see low. Um, Connections, I use both grounds on the best ground I could find here on the engine bay, and then just back probe the connector. You don't need to have it connected. I mean, we know that we have a problem with the module. So settings on the oscilloscope, channel 1 and channel B, A and B, sorry. I'm using my picoscope leads. I like it a lot better, no matter what. I've been using it more, so I can use them. They're longer. I like them a lot. So, and I can keep the hotel ones for future. So I will just use DC voltage, and here you can set it up into automatic if you want, or you can set it up into um, 5 volts. As far as the time, I will go at least 100 microseconds or 50 microseconds, depends on how much you want to see from the signal. Or you can use 200 milliseconds, sorry, microseconds, and if you want to see more of the signal. Don't go more than that, because otherwise the scope will alias, and then you start seeing the spikes that actually doesn't exist, because it's just too fast for the capture that you're getting. So I think that 100 microseconds is actually a secure spot. So let me just turn the ignition on. All right, ignition is on. And yes, we do have communication. So this is the last part of the puzzle to call this module bed. Nice thing that I like about the hotel is this. I mean, it's a touch screen. Actually, I just set up a cursor in there, which we don't need. In order for you to move the actual A or B or whatever channels you got, you actually hold that ground sign thing, and then you can do it. And then you can just come here and zoom. Like right now, I'm zooming into B. So if I step on A, oh, I just turn it off. Yeah, zoom in B. And you can change the time base, because as you can see, well, actually, let's just assume not a time base. Let's, okay. But yeah, that looks like a healthy communication. So I don't see any problems with that. That is actually a perfect capture right there. So hopefully you guys can see that. That is a very good communication. And I know as a fact, when you turn the ignition off, that communication will stay, which is normal procedure until it goes to sleep. So right there, we'll still have it. And just, zoom out, that we will not be able to see, because as much as I zoom, probably just already went to sleep. So, oh no, it's still right there. It's not reaching my, right there. The trigger was out of the, that is probably a better view for you guys. So yeah, guys, we have a problem here with the ABS module 100%. So I'm calling it. There's nothing else I can do, and I don't see any other issue why that starter signal will not reach that relay. We know the starter is good. We know the harness is good. So by the BCM not receiving that brake pedal position sensor signal, it's not letting the actual starter engage or the signal go there. Okay, now you see the signal went to sleep. That's pretty normal. All right, so this is the diagnostics procedure. Stay tuned for the repair part. Hopefully you like the video, and thank you so much for keep watching my videos. I will try to record as much as I can as I go into this process of the pandemic as well with all you guys. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.